Hello! It is afternoon already. Kathy and I were in town this morning doing some jobs in there, and when we returned we discovered that there had been someone here marking the ground ahead of the geotech sample people that are, I thought, coming Wednesday, and I still think coming Wednesday, but they may come early, who knows. The marker person I didn't think was coming till Tuesday, so they'll come when they come. So they've been down the bottom there. I don't know whether you can see, there are a couple of marks down here, and they've also remarked the power cable again just for fun. But I don't see any marks up the top here at all, except right up the top here, where they have marked a big square here, and then these two targets as well. I'm not sure what that is. Supposedly that's a services mark, but to my knowledge there are no services over there. Not sure what that's about. They've marked here for where the services go down. Anyway, no doubt all will be revealed in the fullness of time. In the meantime, today I need to crack on and remove the shed. So Kathy will give me a hand with some of that. So I'll just set up the camera here and go for it. Hello everybody. So today is the 11th of June, so we are 10 days shy of the shortest day of the year on this part of the world. And finally I'm getting back to doing something on the shed down here. So getting that done. I cannot remember when I started on this project, but it is months ago. So it's actually almost midday already. I have been doing a bit down here, which is why I look the way I do. So we will carry on. There's something not quite exactly square, and I need it to be exactly square so that the roof of the shed, which all the roof bits, walls and roof and everything over here, will actually line up when we get up there. Now I could just fudge it, but I don't like doing that, and so let's see how we go. I decided in the end that I wouldn't film erecting of the walls and putting the roof on. It was a bit of a juggle that day because the wind was starting to get up, and I needed to get it done. You can see down here, you can see the silver tape that I put in that rebate that I made so that the water doesn't get into the plywood. And look, we even have a catch on the door. I don't know how many decades we've had this shed, but it's the first time it's had a catch. Here's what I've done inside. So I've built, it's not really a workbench, well it could be, it's a shelf really, and we've now got the chipper in here and the water blaster in here and the mower in here. How I have fixed it down is I just bought 10 of these, and so there are 3 on the long sides and 2 on the short side, so it's riveted to the shed and screwed in down the bottom. So that job is now complete, which is great. That's it for today. I'm going back to my workshop to sort nuts and bolts and things. The reason I'm creeping across the ridgeline is because that is the strongest part. Putting any weight at all on the panels causes them to buckle, as I accidentally found out. When I assembled this shed here a year ago, there was a stable land behind it, which meant I could use the ladder around there to put the screws in that fixed the roof panels to the end panel. Alas, with not so much dirt there these days, I needed to get on the roof to remove the screws. I realise I look a bit strange lying on the roof, but it's the only way I could do it. Once I had removed the screws from the roof, I removed all but one of the screws from all four corners. The wall panels were still fixed to the floor at this point, so there was no likelihood of the shed collapsing in on itself. Once I had removed the glass louvers from the back window, I then continued to remove the remainder of the screws on the back wall. Of course, always leaving one behind to make sure things stay together. Once the roof is all unscrewed, it is quite a simple process to remove it. Each side of the roof is made up of a number of panels that are held together with screws into a channel at the top and the bottom. The channel at the top slots into the separate bridge piece you will see shortly. It makes it a lot more robust than it would be if each panel was individually fixed to the sides and the top. As you heard earlier, I did actually assemble it all on my own, but as with many jobs, it is a lot easier and more satisfying in this particular situation to have my capable Kathy on hand to help. I wouldn't have been able to do some of what followed after without her help. The ridge piece is made of much thicker and heavier material, and that's what provides the strength for the roof, which is again why I crawled along that bit when I needed to get to the other end. As Kathy was walking backwards with this side panel, she asked me if there was anything behind her, and I replied, no, at the exact same moment that she stumbled into the pile of dirt. We chuckled. The reason that the recorded audio from the video is turned down is that there were people working across the road, and they were using concrete breakers and the like, which was quite noisy. At one point, earlier in the afternoon, we heard a very loud "whoa" in unison. I looked down to see what was happening, and someone had jumped in a truck to drive off, not realizing that someone else had put some expensive gear and cases on the ground close to the front of the truck, and the driver had obviously not seen them. It was a close call, and a loud call actually. As the afternoon progressed, the wind started to increase in ferocity. It wasn't ferocious, but you know what I mean. This was particularly noticeable when we exited the shelter of the house with the panels at the other end. Kathy found it difficult to keep the panels upright at that point, so we flicked them around to the horizontal position so that they didn't catch the wind. The increase in wind also made it feel a bit cooler due to the wind chill. It was one of those Jersey off, Jersey on afternoons. If you are wondering why I had insulation under the floor of the garden shed, 2 reasons. I had it left over from another project, and it provides a vapour barrier to the underside of the plywood. The floor is quite close to the ground, and this area down here does receive quite a lot of runoff water from the section up the slope from it. So I thought the plywood would last longer if I could keep the moisture away from it. I hadn't, however, anticipated that the ants would think it is a great place to build a nest. They particularly like the crevices within the insulation itself, which is a bit of a pain, but we'll get rid of them. The floor frame is all screwed together, so I could have dismantled it, but I didn't really want to do that if I could avoid it. There was a bit of work involved in building it at the time, and I wasn't particularly keen to go through that process again in the future, at least not for the same shed. This is where proceedings started to get a little bit marginal as to whether we were going to be able to achieve what I had planned. A modern term might be, was a bit sketchy. I have no doubts about the trolley taking the weight. I made it several decades ago as a piano trolley, but its biggest test came not long after I made it, when it was used by a friend for a time to move around the incompleted hull of a jet boat that he was making out of steel. Initially, my plan was to pull the trolley up the hill and take it around the path between the 2 houses, hence the rope tied to it. It became obvious that was going to be too difficult. Very quickly became obvious. Not sure why I even thought it was a good idea in hindsight. Kathy suggested we went down and around the other way, which was, of course, a much more sensible option. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself here. First, we needed to get it on the trolley. I then screwed it to the trolley so that it didn't move around on the trolley as we transported it. What you can't tell from the camera angle of the video is that not only does the ground slope downwards behind the trolley, but it also slopes over towards where the shed was. This meant that even when we had it on the trolley, the frame still wanted to fall over towards the shed. I had to warn Kathy a couple of times not to walk around that side of the frame, just in case something untoward happened. God willing, yes, that is the correct term, the next video will be about progress on the installation of the conduits for the power and telephone. I can tell you that this has not been a straightforward process. As of right now, we have a muddy quagmire between where the compost bins are and where the shed was, and the conduits have made no further progress up the hill. Hopefully, by the time the next video comes out, we will have the conduits installed. So with the help of my capable Kathy, we now have everything stored in under next door. So there's all the shed panels, there's the floor, there's that floor subframe that was the biggest struggle, and it only just fitted through the door, lying flat. Anyway, we got there, it's done, which is a good thing. The shed is gone. I do not intend to dig out the piles 1, 2, 3, 4. That job would be much easier with a digger, and as there will be at least one of those here in the near and maybe distant future, they can do it when it's here. I am, I think, going to take all the concrete posts away though, and take them off to be crushed and recycled, and I will also pull that gate apart that's sitting over there that post there I'm just going to leave there for now. I don't want to disturb that edge any more than I need to. And so we have come to the end of the day. It's been a busy day. See you later. And we discovered that there is another one of these just outside next door. Not sure how big these holes are going to be or quite how it all works. We'll find out. Good morning. This morning the people from the geotech engineers came, and I'm not entirely sure what the initial plan was, but there was supposed to be a digger coming, but then that failed for whatever reason. I'm still unclear what this particular bit was about, but that's okay, I didn't ask. But up here you can see some core samples that they took. I must say it looks a bit like a rockpecker bird has been here or something, or a large dog. Anyway, and they did do some pedometer testing as well. That's where they hammer a spike into the ground and see how far it goes and all those good things. They have also done the same over on the lawn next door, and they did some down the driveway. So they have come and gone. Tomorrow we should have the boring people back again, and hopefully that will all be completed tomorrow, because after that it's forecast to rain for about 4 days, and that would delay things considerably. So that's it for now. As you can hear, the tui is in the tree up behind me. It was quite funny the other day when I was pulling the shed apart. I went up onto the roof of the shed, and there was a tui in the tree right next to me who was squawking away like this one is in the background. And I pulled my phone out of my pocket to record some of it. And as soon as the tui saw me stop doing what I was doing and focus on it, it just went mum on me and wouldn't do anything. It was quite funny. And as soon as I put that away and carried on, it started up again. So, camera shy or something. Alright, that's it for now. Bye.